Everyone's happy with that? Let me go ahead and start. You go ahead and relax. The first week of the James Hall graduation day.
Thank you, all my Toastmaster friends. It's a joy to be able to be here with you today to talk about a fantastic graduation day in my life. I want you to know that whenever I was in 6th grade, as young as 6th grade, I already knew what I was going to do with my life. That's right, I discovered that I had artistic talent. I was going to be a cartoonist. 6th grade, I found that out. And so 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to my senior year, I had it in my mind, this poor kid that grew up in the project. What's the project? It's the hood before they called it the hood. Okay? That's where I grew up in the projects. And I was poor. And at that point, I realized I ain't going to be poor all my life. As a cartoonist, I'll be raking it in. I'll be raking it in. I'm going to have money. I'm not going to have to worry about that. And in my senior year, as I was bearing down toward it, I went to Ivy School of Professional Art, submitted all of my portfolio. They said, "Hey, we will have you working for Walt Disney within 2 years." I'm like, I'll be raking it in. And in my senior year, God ruined my life. He ruined my life. I went to a church youth camp, and he got a hold of me, and I felt the unction that I needed to get rid of all those plans and go to Bible school instead. So graduation day comes, and instead of going to art school, I go to Bible school. Out of state to Tennessee, Bible school. Now I got to tell you, I was an unlikely candidate for Bible school. Can I tell you, if there was ever an irreverent person there, it was me. I went to class, and there's dudes walking in with briefcases and wearing suits. And I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans. Well, what did you look like back in those days? Look on your table. Look on your table, and straight from my yearbook, from my college yearbook, that's a picture of what I look like. Does that look like a minister to you? My hair got longer than that. I could reach up and grab it this way. That don't look like a minister. And I can't tell you how many times I got called to the dean's office. "Mr. Hall, you need to cut your hair." And man, you talk about going through a crisis in your life. Wait a minute, I know I'm supposed to be in Bible school, but if I can't be a minister, what am I going to do? So I'm talking about changing my major and all this stuff, and now I'm coming up to graduation day. I've already been through high school graduation, but that's not the one I'm talking about. College. No, it's not the college one neither. Because I did graduate, I made it out of there, and I found my niche in life. It was working with young people, with teenagers. And can I tell you, for the next 27 years of my life, I worked with teenagers. Were you good at it? Yes, I think I was good at it. I did all the outings, I did all the neat overnight trips, and I did mission trips out of the country. Man, I took kids to Ireland and Scotland and Israel and my goodness, Ecuador. The list goes on and on. Oh, come on, you really were good at it? Well, put it this way. I remember one year getting an award that I was the best youth leader in the state in our denomination. Well, and this ain't just pat Jim on the back. I became the national youth leader in our denomination. I was decent at what I did, and I got very comfortable at that. In fact, all my buddies, they would say to me, "When are you going to get a real job?" Isn't this a real job? 7 years ago, I had opportunity to become a senior pastor. My goodness. I said, "God, if this is what you want, I'm going to do it." And so I began to go on this journey. Stepping away from the comfort zone of being with teenagers, going to their high schools, hanging out with them, and doing it. Now I have to work with adults, elderly people. Man, oh man. There's no more graduations in sight, is there? Yes, there is. You are not going to believe what happened to me. At one point, there was a man in our congregation, elderly gentleman. I remember Robert Kelly used to come by all the time. "Pastor Jim, My goodness, I've been married for 63 years to Pauline. And he'd come by and tell me these stories, and I remember getting the call one day that Robert had fallen and broken his hip. Went to the hospital to see him. Can I tell you that he never did get back to the original person that he was? He was bedridden for the next 2 years and kept going down, 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 down. Until finally, one day, as my wife and I were downstate, I got a phone call. Robert's in the hospital. It doesn't look good. So we stopped what we were doing. We drove all the way back. We got into that hospital room. And as we walked in there, here was the family all gathered around Robert. And he was there on his deathbed. And I walked in, and this guy that only knew how to work with teenagers walked over close by the bed. Pauline, his wife, looked at me. She said, Pastor, it's all yours. Do your thing. Man, you talk about deer in the headlights. Man, I walked on close over to Robert, and I looked down into his eyes, and man, here was a man struggling for life. Just, and I looked at Robert, and I said, Robert, you're a good man. You have lived a good, godly life. You're ready to meet God. You've said your goodbyes to Pauline and to all your kids. Now, it's okay to let go. And I remember laying my hand up on his head. And I began to pray. I said, God, if it be your will, take Robert right now. Let him go easy. And at that point, every monitor in the room went, woo, flatline. And a tear come out his eye, and he drew his last breath. I looked at Pauline, I said, what just happened? He died. She said, he was waiting for his pastor to go. 2 graduations happened that day, folks. Robert Kelly graduated to life eternal. I graduated to be the senior pastor that day. Thank you.
One minute, please. 1 minute on the clock.